great doors opened. The throne hall of House Arcturus stretched before them in white marble and silver stone, enormous crystal chandeliers hanging from the vaulted ceilings above. Moonlight poured through towering windows overlooking the capital city below. At the far end of the hall stood Queen Selene Arcturus. Several advisors stood nearby, military commanders, economic ministers, fleet officers, the most trusted people on her world. The Queen smiled as the three approached. "Lord Reach." Kenny nodded politely. "Kenny is fine." The Queen laughed softly. "I've heard that." Her eyes shifted toward Lyra and Pines, and the famous survivors of the 10th Eclipse. Pines immediately looked around himself. "Who?" The Queen pointed directly at him. "You." Pines sighed dramatically. "Damn." The Queen smiled before looking toward Lyra. "You may not know this." Lyra raised an eyebrow. "That usually means I won't like it." The Queen laughed. "No." She shook her head. "I think you'll appreciate it." The Queen folded her hands. Tyrannus Prime had no representative in the 10th Eclipse. Another pause. "So our citizens chose one." Lyra frowned. "What do you mean?" The Queen smiled. "You." Silence. Pines immediately pointed. "I knew it. You knew nothing. I knew something." Lyra rolled her eyes. The Queen continued. "During the games you became the most supported contestant on our world." Several advisors nodded. One even smiled. "Our betting markets practically worshipped you." Lyra blinked. "What?" The Queen nodded. "Every challenge." Another pause. "Every fight." Another. "Every broadcast." She smiled warmly. "Our citizens followed your progress." Pines folded his arms. "Interesting." The Queen looked toward him. "You had supporters too." Pines immediately brightened. "I knew it." The Queen smiled. "They mostly described you as amusing." The room erupted into laughter. Pines looked offended. "I survived Eclipse." Another pause. "I should be described as heroic." One of the generals cleared his throat. "The reports also mention you accidentally falling through a maintenance hatch." Pines pointed dramatically. "That happened one time." The room laughed again. Even Kenny smirked. The tension vanished, exactly as intended. The Queen gestured toward the adjoining hall. "Come." The feast began shortly afterward. A massive circular table overlooked the city through enormous glass walls. The night skyline stretched forever beyond them. Ships moved through the air. Transit lanes glowed between skyscrapers. Waterways reflected thousands of lights. The city looked alive. The meal itself was enormous. Exotic meats, fresh fruits, imported seafood, dishes from dozens of worlds. Even Pines eventually stopped talking long enough to eat, an achievement in itself. The discussions began slowly. Trade first, the safest topic. One of the Queen's ministers activated a star map. Trade routes appeared instantly. Tyrannus territory, Reach territory, Imperial space. The minister pointed towards several corridors. "Our current routes pass through unstable regions." Kenny studied them. "Pirates." The minister nodded. "And opportunists." The Queen leaned forward. "A formal alliance could secure several of these routes." Kenny nodded. "Possibly." The discussions continued. Resource sharing, manufacturing, agriculture, mining, energy production. Hours passed. The atmosphere remained productive. No one attempted manipulation. No one tried forcing agreements. Eventually, the conversation shifted toward military matters. Several admirals joined in. Fleet deployments, defensive doctrines, response times, emergency logistics. One of the Queen's commanders looked toward Kenny. "We studied the moon battle." Silence. The table grew slightly quieter. The commander continued. "Your forces performed beyond expectations." Kenny shrugged. "Good training." The commander frowned. "Only training?" Darius would have laughed if he were present. The commander clearly expected some secret answer. Kenny gave him the truth. The Queen smiled slightly. "You sound disappointed." The commander sighed. "I was hoping for a miracle." Pines pointed toward Kenny. "He's the miracle." Kenny ignored him. The commander continued. "The casualty report surprised us." Another pause. 5% losses. The commander shook his head. "Against House Rain." The Queen looked interested. "What makes your soldiers different?" Kenny considered the question, then answered honestly. "I teach them to think." Silence. The commander frowned. "That's it?" "That's it." The room grew thoughtful. One of the fleet officers nodded slowly. "The old House Rain doctrine." Kenny nodded, rigid. The Queen listened carefully. understanding immediately. Her military commanders listened even harder. The discussions continued. Hours passed. Then Kenny introduced something unexpected. A holographic projection appeared above the table. Medical facilities, rehabilitation centers, veteran programs. The Queen recognized them immediately. The Reach Recovery Initiative. Kenny nodded. Our PTSD treatment programs. Several military officers sat forward. The room instantly became serious. Kenny looked around the table.
If an alliance ever happens. Another pause. I'd like to begin there. Silence. The Queen listened carefully. Kenny continued. Veterans. Another pause. People broken by war. Another. People broken by Eclipse. The room remained quiet. Everyone knew such people. Every military family did. The Queen folded her hands. You'd share it? Yes. One of the older admirals looked genuinely emotional. The Queen noticed. So did Kenny. The Queen smiled softly. That's a meaningful gesture. Kenny shrugged. It helps. The Queen nodded. Then perhaps that should be the first step. No treaties, no fleets, no politics, helping people. Kenny found himself liking that answer. Eventually the evening reached its conclusion. No official alliance was signed. The stakes were too large. The Queen stood from her seat. I would prefer all parties think carefully. The advisors nodded. The military leaders agreed. Kenny agreed too. The Queen smiled. Stay the night. She gestured toward the palace. Leave tomorrow. Pines immediately answered.
Done? Nobody asked him. The Queen laughed. The invitation was accepted. Several hours later, the palace had become quiet. Most guests had retired. Most advisors had vanished. Only distant sounds remained. Kenny sat alone in one of the private healing chambers. Steam drifted through the room. The famous healing waters surrounded him. Milky white, warm, comfortable. According to local scientists, the mineral composition accelerated skin recovery and reduced inflammation dramatically. Whether true or not, it felt good. The floating daggers rested nearby. For once, no war, no reports, no meetings, just silence. Then came a knock. Kenny opened one eye. Come in. A palace attendant entered. She bowed politely. Kenny. He appreciated that. No titles, no formalities. What is it? The woman smiled slightly. The Queen requests an exclusive private audience. Kenny glanced around the room, then toward the water, then back toward the attendant. It doesn't get much more exclusive than me sitting naked in a bath. The attendant immediately laughed, a genuine laugh, then quickly covered her mouth. My apologies. Kenny smirked. I'll survive. The attendant composed herself. The Queen will arrive shortly. Then she left. The door closed. A few moments later it opened again. Queen Celine entered alone. No guards, no advisors, no crown. Just Celine. The Queen looked around the chamber, then toward the water, the healing springs. Kenny raised an eyebrow. The famous healing waters? She nodded. Our world is known for them. The Queen slowly walked around the perimeter of the bath. Generations of Arcturus rulers have used these springs. Another step. They're said to accelerate recovery 5 times faster than normal. Kenny looked down at the water. Convenient, the Queen smiled. Very. She continued around the pool. The moonlight reflected softly through the steam. For several moments neither spoke. Then Kenny finally broke the silence. What do you actually want from this alliance? The Queen stopped. Silence settled over the chamber. For a moment she simply studied him. Then she sighed softly, as though reaching a decision. The Queen removed her outer robe and set it aside. Not ceremonially, not dramatically, simply discarding another layer of royal formality. Then she stepped into the healing waters opposite him. The white mineral water concealed everything beneath the surface. The atmosphere remained calm, private, serious. The Queen settled comfortably across from him, then looked directly into his eyes. No politics, no advisors, no rehearsed speech, just honesty. And then she answered, marriage. Silence. Kenny stared. The Queen remained perfectly calm. A faint smile touched her lips. Marriage to House Reach, and for the first time in years. Kenny Reach found himself completely speechless.